It's interesting on how many levels the title of this film works on, huh? Downhill skiing is what they're doing in the film. Downhill is the direction of the relationship of the leading characters. And downhill is the career trajectories of Will Ferrell and Julia-Louis Dreyfus after this.
We didn't see any of that.
Well.
So Downhill is a remake of a Swedish black comedy called Majeure from 2014, and it is hard to imagine a scenario where I'd ever get excited about Americans, particularly Will Ferrell, remaking a Swedish black comedy, because after all, the majority of Will Ferrell films are cringy trash, let's call them generously. Look at what he's made recently. Daddy's Home, The House, Holmes and Watson. Let's just say it's difficult for me to get hard over Will Ferrell films these days. So I knew this would be a disaster. And then suddenly, some of the reviews weren't actually that bad. Empire gave it 3 out of 5 stars. The scores early on Rotten Tomatoes and things weren't awful after the first couple days of release. And I was thinking, oh, okay. And I went to see it with some level of expectation. So, were my hopes justified? Here is my 1-minute review for Downhill. No! God, no! God, no! Will Ferrell and Julia-Louis Dreyfus are the worst married couple ever in a cringe fest that feels like somebody shit on the script for Marriage Story. Ferrell is... I mean, he's just him. He's only ever played one character, really, and it's Will Ferrell. Doesn't matter what he's doing, he's Will Ferrell. Dreyfus plays this horrible, nagging, awful wife character that's... she's the worst nightmare for anyone. And yes, absolutely, I'm not going to argue that Will Ferrell's character, he ran away from a potentially deadly situation when his family needed him. Aside from that, he's just selfish. It was not a comedy, not a black comedy. I know what a black comedy is. This is not a black comedy. This is no comedy at all. It's just awful cringe most of the time, and then sometimes Miranda Otto's characters on screen, and that's not bad, but it's just bad. It was bad. I'm giving this 39 out of 100 because it is a monstrosity. I couldn't even give it the 40, which is kind of the very boring, not good, but kind of well-made section. No, it's below that. Why so little of Miranda Otto's character? She was the only character who was, like, ever funny?